My name is Daniel, and I am 79 years old. When I sit on my old wooden chair every morning and look out the window, I often think about my life. I think about the choices I made, the dreams I left behind, and the moments when I walked away too soon. I am not telling you this because I want sympathy. I am telling you because I hope my story helps someone who is younger than me and still has the chance to change. Since I was young, I believed something very wrong. I believed that if I made a mistake, it meant I was not good enough. I believed that talented people never fail, strong people never fall, and successful people never feel lost. I thought everyone else had something I didn't have, something complete inside them. Let me give you an example. When I was a teenager, I wanted to paint. I loved colors and I loved watching artists on the street. One day, I saved enough money to buy a small canvas and a few brushes. For 2 days, I tried painting, and it felt good. But on the third day, my painting looked terrible. Instead of laughing, learning, and trying again, I felt embarrassed. I threw everything away and told myself that painting was not for me. Years later, I decided to learn guitar. I imagined myself playing soft music in the evenings. But after 1 week, my fingers hurt and the sound was messy. I gave up again. Then I tried writing. I wanted to write stories, maybe even a small book. But I compared myself to great writers and felt ashamed of my simple sentences, so I stopped. This pattern followed me everywhere. Cooking, running, studying languages, starting small projects. Each time I made one mistake, I walked away. One little failure, one uncomfortable moment, and I quit. I thought quitting protected me from feeling stupid. I thought stopping early kept me safe. But now, at 79, I understand what I did not see back then. No one is complete. No one starts strong. No one begins perfect. The people I admired, the people who became great, all failed more times than I ever tried. They learned from their mistakes, but I ran away from mine. It took me a lifetime to understand that mistakes are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign that you are moving, growing, living. They are a sign that you are actually trying. I look back now and wonder what would have happened if I had stayed with painting a little longer, or practiced guitar 1 more week, or written 1 more page. I will never know. But you, if you are younger than me, you still have time to keep going.
When I reached my 30s, life started to move faster. I got a job, got married, and became a father. My days were full, but inside me there was always a quiet voice saying that something was missing. I ignored that voice for many years, telling myself that I was too busy to think about dreams. But the truth is, I wasn't busy. I was scared. Scared of trying again. Scared of failing again. One memory from that time still sits heavy on my heart. I once had a chance to open a small shop with a friend. He believed in me more than I believed in myself. He said, "Daniel, you're smart and hardworking. We can do this together." I smiled, I nodded, but inside, I was panicking. What if the shop failed? What if people laughed at us? What if I made a mistake? So I found an excuse. I told him I didn't have enough time. He opened the shop alone. 3 years later, that little shop became a successful business. People talked about it. They admired it. And every time I passed by, I felt something sharp inside my chest. Not jealousy, regret. But regret didn't teach me fast. No, I continued walking the same way, starting things, getting scared, stepping back. I kept telling myself that I was an incomplete person. I believed other people were born with something special that I didn't have. I remember one evening when my daughter was 10 years old. She came to me with a drawing she made. The drawing wasn't perfect. The lines were messy, the colors were mixed in all the wrong places. But she didn't care. She was proud. She asked me, "Dad, do you like it?" I wanted to protect her from becoming like me. So I said, "Yes, I love it. Keep drawing. Mistakes help you get better." But that night, I couldn't sleep. I realized I was telling my daughter something I never told myself. I encouraged her to try, while I spent my whole life avoiding the same advice. As the years passed, I watched my children grow with more courage than I ever had. They fell, they learned, they tried again. And every time they stood up after a failure, I felt both proud and sad. Proud of them, sad for myself. By the time I reached my 60s, I began to understand something important. The pain of regret is much heavier than the pain of failure. Failure hurts for a short time. Regret stays with you. It grows with you. And when you reach my age, it becomes a shadow that follows you everywhere. Still, even then, I didn't fully learn the lesson. I kept thinking, maybe it's too late for me. Maybe I missed all my chances.
I was 70 when the real turning point happened. Until then, I lived quietly. I woke up early, made tea, read the newspaper, and spent most of my time sitting on the same old chair near the window. My life looked peaceful from the outside, but inside, I felt like a man who had slowly faded into the background, a man who had allowed fear to make decisions for him. One afternoon, something unexpected happened. My grandson, Adam, came to visit. He was only 12 at the time, full of energy, full of dreams, and full of questions. He liked asking me about the old days, as he called them. Usually, I told him simple stories, but that day, he asked something different. "Grandpa, what is one thing you wish you had done?" The question felt like a stone thrown into a quiet lake. It created ripples inside me. I didn't answer immediately. My eyes went to the window, to the sky, to the trees. I was searching for something. Maybe courage, maybe honesty. After a long moment, I said softly, "I wish I had tried more things. I wish I had not stopped so quickly." Adam didn't understand at first. He sat closer and asked, "Why did you stop?" I smiled in a sad way. I thought mistakes meant I was not good enough. He looked at me with wide eyes and said something I will never forget. "Grandpa, no one is good at things in the beginning, not even superheroes." His words were simple, but they hit me harder than anything I had heard before. No one is good at things in the beginning. That truth was floating around me my whole life, but I never grabbed it. Adam continued talking, telling me about his school projects, his soccer team, and how he kept practicing even when he failed. His voice was full of life, and for the first time in many years, I felt something warm inside my chest, a feeling I thought I had lost: hope. That evening, after he left, I stayed awake for a long time. I thought about my 70 years of quitting too early. I thought about the dreams I buried and the talents I never explored. And then I wondered, if my grandson can keep trying at 12, why can't I try at 70? The next morning, I woke up before the sun. The house was quiet, the air was cool, and for the first time in decades, I felt a spark, a small but real desire to try again. Not to be perfect, not to impress anyone, just to experience something new before my time ran out. I sat there thinking, maybe I am not too old for one last attempt. Maybe the story of my life does not have to end with regret. Maybe I can change something even now. And that was the moment everything began to shift. The moment I decided that my age would not decide my future.
After that night, something inside me changed. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, like a small flame that finally found air. For the first time in many years, I felt curious about life again. I felt like maybe, just maybe, I still had a chance to grow. I didn't try to do something big at first. I started with the smallest, simplest step. I picked up a pencil. Not a paintbrush, not a guitar, not a business idea. Just a pencil. I found an old notebook in the drawer and sat down at my kitchen table. My hands were shaking a little. It felt strange, like I was meeting myself again after many years apart. I opened the notebook, looked at the blank page, and then I began to draw. It was terrible. The lines were crooked, the shapes looked funny. I made mistakes in every corner of the page. And instead of feeling ashamed like I used to, I laughed. I actually laughed. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't stop. I didn't throw the notebook away. I didn't say, "I'm not good at this." I simply turned the page and tried again. Every morning I drew a little more. Some days the drawings were awful. Some days they were not so bad. But every day I felt something new, a sense of freedom. I realized that the feeling of trying, truly trying, was something I had been missing my whole life. A month later, I bought a small guitar again. I started learning slowly. My fingers still hurt, and sometimes the strings made strange sounds, but I didn't quit. I played for 5 minutes, then 10, then 15. I began to enjoy the process instead of judging myself. One afternoon, my daughter visited me. She listened to me practicing guitar and said, "Dad, I've never seen you look this happy." And she was right. I felt lighter, younger even. I wasn't perfect at anything, but for the first time, I understood something important. No one is complete, not even at 79. We all have empty spaces, and those spaces are meant to be filled by learning, trying, failing, and trying again. When I look back at my life now, I still feel regret for the years I wasted, but I also feel gratitude. Gratitude that I finally learned the lesson before it was too late. Gratitude that I can share it with you. If you are younger than me, whether you are 12, 20, 30, or 50, please listen to an old man's truth. The biggest mistake is stopping because of mistakes. The biggest failure is not trying again. You don't have to be complete. You just have to keep going. And if my story touched you or helped you understand yourself a little better, I invite you to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. Your support helps my words reach someone else who might need them.